So, talking of the effects of this senseless war, extortion of hard-earned money and promises of greener pastures turn flashes to war victims. Sad news reaching Undaunted, captured on video by a Good Samaritan in Ghana, exposes over 120 Southern Cameroonians stranded in Ghana, housed by another Good Samaritan. Undaunted Amba TV News gathers that these young men and women fleeing the scorched earth repressive assault by a genocidal barbaric colonial La Republic du Cameroon on innocent denizens of the southern Cameroon's Amazonia. The victims were promised greener pastures, which, as usual in war situations, turn out to be seized.
Well, the video, which we will play, is made in the language in French, telling a sad story how our young men and women have been duped of sums of money, as much as 800,000 francs CFA to over a million for some persons, promising them fake jobs. Well, the voiceover in this video sends an SOS to family members and friends of the victims to identify them and rescue them. Only a few days ago, we told you here on Undaunted that there is a sad story. At least 3 migrants died, 13 are still missing, while 14 have been rescued off the Caribbean waters. Well, we confirmed the news. AP News has confirmed that the victims are mostly Southern Cameroonians, that is Ambazonians, fleeing from the ravaging war in Amberland, who left Antigua early Tuesday, March 28, 2023. Well, full report says the group departed from Antigua, heading to the U.S. Virgin Islands before their boat sank near St. Kitts Island.
Well, in another development, Daunted Amba TV equally reported that 3 Southern Cameroonians, Amazonians, were among several people who died after a boat sank on the southwestern coast of Turkey. The Amazonian victims were 2 women and a man who were identified among victims of the incident that occurred on the 9th of March 13th, 2023. This is the day-to-day plight of most Southern Cameroonians, Amazonians, and even some Francophone Cameroonese using the Amazonian War of Independence as an escape route and the ever-increasing hardship in La Republic du Cameroon to look for greener pasture elsewhere.
Well, as Undaunted Amber TV News reports, xenophobic tendencies are risen in Tunisia against denizens of La Republic du Cameroon, and the Cameroon embassy in Tunisia is about now repatriating hundreds back to La Republic du Cameroon. The Cameroon embassy in Tunisia is full to the brim with its denizens declared persona non grata. Now, for close to 7 years running, the Amazonian War of Independence has claimed and will keep on saying it until it is heard in the appropriate quarters. It has claimed over 45,000 lives, witnessed over 600 homes and villages razed, sent over 1 million as refugees in neighboring countries, and yet, still yet, the international community has remained mute, watching the genocide happen over and over again. Now, let's see that video.
Voilà tous les Camerounais, vous pouvez constater là.
These are Cameroonians stranded in Ghana, victims in the hands of sailors of illusion. They were promised lofty job opportunities in Ghana. They left Cameroon believing, hoping that in Ghana their lives will be better because of the wonderful job opportunities and lucrative salary they were being promised on social media. Arriving in Ghana, no job was there. They were then forced to even bring in their family members together, whom they paid the sum of 800,000 to 1 million francs CFA to these unscrupulous business dealers. And you can look for yourself if your relative happens to be identified. It's added advantage, those who are behind their trafficking, those behind their entering Ghana, those who promise them those lofty jobs that are nowhere to be found, have been apprehended, and they are presently at Gendarmerie Station in Ghana.
Les Camerounais, 120 qui s'ouvrent, regardez. Donc, j'étais obligé de faire une descente pour les récupérer entre la main de ces gens-là.
That is the situation of these young Cameroonians that are fed up with the regime of Paul Biya. is giving them as opportunity. They can only venture in such an opportunity because at home there is no hope for them for tomorrow. So they decide to take the bull by the horn. And why not die in hope than remain alive in hopelessness? So the much desired, which of these Cameroonians is to return back to Cameroon, but by what means, and who will shoulder that responsibility? Those who are still back home, before you make any move regarding a job advertised online, be warned and be very careful.
Voilà.
All right, before we move on, we still have the Vice President here in the studio. This is a very pathetic report, and for a while now, we've given you reports regarding two Amazonians dying either on the sea or being killed in some foreign countries. All they are looking for is greener pastures. Well, Mr. Vice President, this is a sad report. But as a member of the interim government, I know that you have something to say.
Well, it is heartbreaking to see people fleeing their home. I don't know who these people they call Cameroonians because it comes across to me as though even some Francophones, some Cameroonians are there. So I don't know if they are Amazonians because our people have been suffering for a very long time. Even trying to come through Mexico to enter America, some die in the Mediterranean Sea, some of them are languishing in corners of Africa, just trying to make ends meet because of this war. 7 years, and we have pleaded and pleaded with the international community to actually come to their rescue. But it looks like things are not going as fast as we thought it would, and we are very disappointed about that. But I've also, I also saw the report in ACU, as ACU LGA. The Fulani and Bororo problems in that county is not something alien to us. It's not something that we're just hearing today. It is something that has been going on for a very long time. Alaji Dampolo, who owns, he's one of the richest people in Cameroon, as they call it. Well, he's in Ambazonia, but I don't even know if he's from Ambazonia because he owns thousands of acres of land in that area, that area. And he has been bringing in Fulani and Borolo people from Nigeria to harass our population so that they flee their land so that he can have grazing lands for his cows. The same problems that some people in Nigeria are also facing with the Fulanis in Nigeria. But Alaji Dampolo has been the main perpetrator of that crime in Ambazonia. And that is why I have always asked this question. You see all the young men and women standing here in Ako. How many of them are there? How many able men and women are there? The Fulanis who come from Nigeria, brought in by this enabler from La Republic of Cameroon to come and harass this population. Are they military? They are not from they don't have any military background. These are all herdsmen. These are all vicious herdsmen who come into our territory to kill people and to kidnap people, to terrorize them so that they abandon the land so Dampolo can have enough land to graze his cows. Okay, let me ask you something. If the Fulanis who are coming in are not trained military personnel, why is this population not standing up and saying, hey, you know what, enough is enough? When you ride into our territory with your horses, you are also going to meet resistance. Because when you cry out to the authorities that be, and the authority occupying your land is actually perpetrating these crimes through the back door by inviting the Fulanis to come and harass you, then who should come and help you? How many restoration forces do you think we need down there to protect this entire population? That is why I'm asking the chairperson of that LGA and the chairperson of that county to start sensitizing the people on what I have been talking about for a very long time. You have to be able to protect your neighborhood. I distinctly remember that when oil was being exploited somewhere in Nigeria, and the people of that village were not the beneficiaries of the proceeds from that oil, they stood up, and the Nigerian government had to succumb to their will, and they were compensated. The people of Akko should remember that the restoration forces alone cannot protect the entire community, that entire LGA. The population must rise up and buy guns and bring down these Fulani men who are coming in and kidnapping their people, because they are doing this because they have the blessing of the authorities from Cameroon. That is what I'm saying. So when I keep saying that the population should help end this war, when I mean end the war, I mean defeat La République du Cameroon, is because the interim government doesn't have enough personnel and enough guns to carry this burden alone. Our restoration forces cannot do it alone. If you have 400 people in this village, and even 100 or 200 of them carry guns, it doesn't matter what kind of gun, it doesn't matter if it's a den gun, any kind of weapon, then, you know, the restoration forces can come there and say, hey, you know what, now that all of you are armed, let's see these people coming again. When they come in, you drop them. They can't ride their horses into your territory and kidnap your people, kill some, and then you just sit there and cry. You go to the market square and cry. What are you crying about? So I would talk to the leaders of that LGA. Let them start telling their population to protect their families. It is their responsibility to do so. We do not have the arsenal and the capability to do much, because these people come in by night. But they know. How do they even come in there without being seen? Is because there is somebody in there who is actually inviting them to come and harass the population. We've had these problems before, and it is time the people of that LGA stand up and start bringing them down. It really beats me why people are so reluctant to do it. Please arm yourselves and protect their backyard. Thank you.